all of them are looking at the offseason. 47 to doesn't matter. Guys, the Cowboys season is over. 8-8, one that will live in infamy.
Eagles host the Seahawks. They won the NFC. They play on Sunday, wildcard weekend. But with more on the Cowboys, let's welcome in Jane Slater. She's live with us covering everything that's going on down there. What's the latest with Jason Garrett and his situation in Dallas? I understand Jerry Jones spoke last night after the win.
Yeah, he spoke for a little over 28 minutes, Kay, and to understand why there hasn't been a decision made this morning, let me map out some of the complexities that are going on here. Keep in mind that Jason Garrett was once a backup quarterback on this roster. It was Jerry Jones who gave him his first head coaching job, and it was Jerry who's very publicly been by his side throughout the years, but also Jason Garrett's been a head coach that has allowed Jerry Jones to be the magnanimous owner that he is, as well as the GM. It's a relationship that's not necessarily created postseason success, but it's a relationship that has worked. Jerry spoke very lovingly and very glowingly of Garrett during that time with the media last night. And he also said that he wasn't closing the door on anything tonight, referencing our conversation with him on Sunday. He also said, though, that there is a need to make significant changes. The time calls for that. So whether that means making a change to the head coach or the coaching staff remains to be seen. We saw Dak Prescott on the podium last night, about as emotional as I've ever seen him, talking about the desire to have Jason Garrett back. His players have publicly stated this season, both publicly as well as privately to me, that they want Jason Garrett back. He's a guy that we may not always see this happen, but holds them accountable, has hard practices, is like a father figure to them. But this, I think, is going to be the statement from Jason Garrett on the podium last night that is perhaps lingering with Jerry Jones this morning.
We just had a hell of a day with our football team and an emotional locker room afterwards. And so you just gotta, you want to live in those moments and you want to embrace those moments. And a special group of men I got a chance to be around, to coach and coach with, and just so proud of what our team did today. And we'll think about, what's next at some point. But again, just want to soak in the day and devour the emotions of the day. And again, so proud of our football team.
And Jason was asked on the podium if he sees himself coaching next year, and he says yes, he wants that to be in Dallas, but he also added, we'll see what happens. Probably one of the lingering scenes that we're going to remember around here was after the game. Jason Garrett does what he always does. He goes out to the 50-yard line. He tosses the football around with his family as well as his friends. He was there taking selfies and pictures with everybody. It wasn't look like he was trying to get out of here. We don't expect this to be an acrimonious divorce if that is in fact what happens. But what has been very clear is Jerry is disappointed, and we do know that at least he has put out feelers both beginning last season with trying to court Sean Payton as well as this year. I've talked about that talk with Urban Meyer earlier this year. They have been at least putting feelers out there. It's just the question right now is, are they going to move on or are they going to stick with their guy?
Yes, and his contract, of course, expired after yesterday. The season is over at 8-8, missing the playoffs. Thank you so much, Jane Slater, for the updates there on what's going on with Jason Garrett. A lot of ins, outs, and what have yous. This is the schedule for Wild Card Weekend. Bills at Texans, Titans at Patriots on Saturday. Then the NFC comes to bat. Vikings at Saints, Seahawks at Eagles. Saints, the GOAT 13-3 3-seed, right?
Absolutely. I've never seen a better 3-seed. You got to play on a road game? Come on.
Let's welcome in Mike Garafolo and Tom Pelissero. We have some running backs to talk about. Gentlemen, Tom, let's get to you in just a second. Mikey G, tell us what's going on with Eagles running back Miles Sanders. Big game, a lot of injuries between the Seahawks and the Eagles ahead of Sunday's matchup.
I had that ankle issue yesterday. Kay left the game, did not return, was dancing in the post-game locker room. I guess that's a good sign, right? But he does have an ankle sprain. He will get an MRI today. He was in pain yesterday, significant enough that he would not return to that game. So we'll see about it. He's a tough kid. So they're going to see what the MRI says and then see if maybe he can power his way through this to be on the field on Sunday. The good news is Jordan Howard working his way back, although he didn't get any carries in the game yesterday. And then you've got Boston Scott, who's just doing spinoramas in the open field, slow as they may be, and juking out people who aren't even there. But certainly his production has been excellent as well. And by the way, last hour, ran down the list of all the Eagles' injuries. Got the list right here, but I lost my place on it, and I missed the big one. Zach Ertz missed the game because of a rib issue and the lacerated kidney that Ian Rappaport told you about yesterday. I did speak to an Eagles source on the field yesterday who thought that Ertz might have a shot here to come back. I know some folks are saying it's a multi-week injury, but we'll see about Ertz. Might have a shot to return here to face the Seahawks.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, who even cares if you have Boston Scott out there carrying the mail for this team, right? Like he did yesterday in that win. Unbelievable day for Boston Scott. We'll have those highlights ahead. Thank you so much, Mike Garafolo. Tom, what's going on with another star, crucial Vikings running back named Dalvin Cook out of Minnesota?
The Vikings expect Dalvin Cook is going to be ready to go on Sunday against the Saints. He's been dealing with an SC joint sprain as well as a shoulder injury. It makes him a fumbling risk, among other things, but now with a couple of weeks of rest and healing time, they believe that he's going to be able to get back on the field and be the Dalvin Cook we've seen before. Cook even participated on a limited basis in practice a week ago. For a Vikings team that's dealt with a ton of injuries in the second half of the season, from Adam Thielen to Eric Kendricks, who dropped out of that Green Bay game. Anthony Barr got nicked up in that one too. They're going to be pretty healthy heading into a rematch of a series that we've seen in the playoffs between these two teams over the past decade that's been pretty compelling. The 2009 NFC Championship game, of course, the Minneapolis Miracle. Vikings now head back to New Orleans, try to pull the upset.
No Saint wants to hear that phrase. I was already told by every Saints fan in the world, do not mention mini miracle. Thank you for the update on Dalvin Cook. Over 1,000 yards rushing, 13 rushing touchdowns, a brilliant season for the stud running back. Tom, Mike G, appreciate you. And I believe we'll be back at the breakfast table. What do you guys think?
Look, the Minneapolis Miracle happened 2 years ago, happened in Minnesota, and it happened with a different team and a different quarterback, and Kirk Cousins wasn't the guy throwing it. What I would say is this: Zimmer knows Peyton, Peyton knows Zimmer. They coached together for years in Dallas. There is a relationship there, and these two guys, they know what the others do. This isn't going to be one of those deals where Sean Payton comes out and just throws the kitchen sink at Zimmer and he's not ready for it. Fascinated by the chess match between two guys who know each other very well, both on the field and off the field. This is not the best matchup for the Saints because the Vikings bring a good defense, and they also bring a coach who knows the other head coach.
You know what I love about this game? You mentioned the kitchen sink, and I feel like both of these teams has shown us glimpses of how creative they really can be. We know that Sean Payton, he'll pull out anything. Special teams, trick plays, you get Taysom Hill running everything and playing every position on the field. But on the flip side, we saw recently Stephon Diggs try to hit Kirk Cousins on the Philly special ball plays. Everybody's running. It's like a new outfit that people are wearing. So that's the biggest thing that I'm looking. Who is going to be the most creative coach in this game? Because there's going to be one play that changes the complexion. This isn't going to be a traditional offense straight down the field in between the lines. It's going to have to spice up a little bit.
If I was Zimmer, I would lean hard into this. I don't think anyone's going to take the Vikings in this game. They're not playing well. They've lost 3 of 5 games. They're going to New Orleans. They will be. I think they'll be a huge underdog.
The Kirk Cousins theory, right?
All that stuff is going to play. When they do the network shows and you guys do the logos, it's all going to be Saints logos.
Can you blame
all of them. No, not at all. They should. But if I'm Mike Zimmer, I want to share that with the whole locker room. Guys, nobody believes in us. That's this game.
Tough draw for them. I have a feeling they're rooting for the Seahawks. They much rather go to Seattle to face that squad than have to go into New Orleans. We want to hear from you, the fans, at GMFB with your thoughts. More highlights ahead. The Eagles